So a lot of surplus trucks come with soft doors, but the worst part is that they're usually torn up. And it's not an issue of the zipper being broken, that the stitching on the zipper is all torn out and separated. Rather than buying new doors, we're gonna fix the stitching on these zippers. To fix the windows, all you need is needle and thread. So what I'm gonna use is Kevlar sewing thread. This is 30/3, and the whole package weighed 4 ounces, and it's just the natural color. I've got tan doors, so it kind of makes sense to use this color versus black or green. Starting on the inside with a knot, we're gonna take our stitching and go from the inside to the outside, then move forward to the next hole, come back through to the inside, but instead of going forward, we're gonna go back to the original hole, back through, then forward another hole, skipping the one we went through, back down through, back to the prior hole, back through, and basically we're going to repeat this pattern. So it's going to be a double threaded full back stitch. And the benefit is each hole you go through twice with 2 strands of the thread. So to account for how much thread you need, there's 1, 2, 3 times, and then since the thread's doubled up, you'll need actually 6 times the thread length attached to the needle versus how long of a seam you're going to sew. I started at that corner and I've worked my way all the way around to here. I've managed to line up the existing hole in the fabric and the zipper, so I've just been following that along and moving this into position accordingly to keep the tightness of the window and make sure I don't get a nasty surprise where it's all bunched up and doesn't fit. I'm actually going to go back a few stitches and start not where the end where I left off, but at another point. And that way I know I have good overlap. And with the existing hole in the zipper fabric and in the door itself, I'm just going to come out an existing hole. As I pull a thread, it might want to be uneven, so just pull it so that both strands of the thread are tight. Next, I'm going to go forward 1 hole and go through there. The trick is to keep the thread from knotting itself up. And it's going to want to, because there's a lot of thread here, that there's probably 8 or 9 feet of it. So just go slow and pull it tight. Now the next stitch isn't going forward. We're going to go back, because this full back stitch, we're going to go through the hole that we started originally with this section. And then just start pulling it through. We've gone through, forward, back up, rearward, back down, and now we're going to go forward again. And as we go around, line up the outside hole and then the old existing inside hole and just push the needle through. And then go back 1 hole, back through. And I keep tension on the stitch that I just did so it doesn't come loose, and then pull it nice and tight. So I'll give fair warning, this process is not fast. That you're stitching over the same basically distance 3 times, but it is going to be very strong and keep this from separating again. Now that we've reached the end of the repair, we got to tie off the thread from our stitch so it doesn't go anywhere. I'm just going to slide it through one of the previous back stitches and then basically make a knot there. Then I'm going to repeat that as well. That way I'm sure that it's not going to come out. And by going back a little bit, and I'm just going underneath the loop itself, it'll use the stitches to take the load rather than having the load be on the knot. Then take a pair of scissors and snip it off. Then we're going to do the same thing here on the stitches on the window side to fix it. Now getting the needle started on the window side of the zipper is going to be a little tougher. The frame of the door is in the way, but with a pair of pliers I can get it through the material I'm acting like a thimble. And now I've got a start to this, and I can work my way forward. Now that the stitching is fixed, I'm going to take some zipper lubricant and apply it to the zipper. That'll keep it from having to apply an excessive amount of force to get the zipper to open, which I'm guessing is what causes the stitching to tear out. So even if your stitching's okay, or your windows are okay, this stuff's pretty cheap and goes on really easily to keep them from tearing in the future.